What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get this Freaky Friday started. What's going on? Welcome back to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. Welcome, my friends. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you've had a good week. We are going to be talking about Trump not winning the Nobel Peace Prize, and we think that Satoshi Nakamoto actually should have won the Nobel Peace Prize, because it's pretty amazing to have such an effect on the world in terms of fixing the world's money and literally bowing out and not accepting the credit. I don't think anyone in the world, even if it was, I'd say one person or a group, but just the fact that a group or one said person would be able to leave the treasure chest, the biggest treasure trove and treasure chest of an asset the world has ever seen, and just go, I'll leave it in good hands. Now that person deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, because that is very, very difficult to do. But we're going to get into the price actions today. We're going to talk about the altcoins. We're going to talk about the macro buildup into 2026 and what our game plan is for 2026. And we're going to talk about privacy. We're going to talk about privacy coins. We're going to talk about how there's a few ecosystems that will be the end game rotation, I think, at the end of this particular cycle, which we think is broken. A lot of other mega analysts and people that have been in crypto for a long time and have experienced these 4-year cycles in crypto now understand the nature of what we've been talking about, which is that the 4-year cycle is dead. We were very convinced that we were going to follow the same pattern that we had followed before, and that was very much invalidated for this year. And also last year, it was completely invalidated. Like, we basically came to the conclusion that the 4-year cycle had been broken and that we were going to be extending out and spreading out and waiting for more liquidity to come in through all the stablecoin legislation, the stablecoin minting, the loosening of the banks, no more Operation Choke Point, which was the attack on crypto in the United States under the Biden administration. So there is a lot to be bullish on, and I think we're still in great accumulation zones for altcoins. I think people like Alex Becker, they've explained and are saying, look, guys, like I all jokes aside, like, and I feel like it's, we joke a lot too. I said, all jokes aside, even my patience is being tested by crypto. He said, AKA, I'm totally effing annoyed. I got a giant multi 8-figure bag I'd like to smash red on and just stuff in stocks. And it's funny because it's funny how rotation like this, you have the stock market and gold and silver breaking all-time highs, and you're over here with your crypto bags kind of just like, they're kind of performing well, but you're looking over at gold and everything else and like, God, these freaking boomers, they're still making out with like bandits. I mean, it was already bad enough that you had the boomers selling their house for $400,000 overpriced, so that like a house that they bought for $60,000, like in an oyster, and they are now trying to flip it for massive profits. It's the same as boomers with their gold that they bought spot 50 like for $200, and they're just like feeling that pump right now. So we feel a little bamboozled, if we weren't really dollar cost averaging and really getting, sidelined on crypto here and in the stock market, then you're feeling very, very impatient and very angry. And you're probably tempted, man, I just need to chuck all this in over there, but we gotta be patient, because I feel like we're gonna show you some charts that will signify that we are not even close to the top. We are not even near the top. Okay? Because the cycle is broken. If the cycle wasn't broken, then I would have said 125,000 was the top, and we might get a little quick altcoin pump after the money flows out of Bitcoin. But look, here's the deal, my friends. We're still going to have a lot of money flowing into Bitcoin, then also ETH, also anything that has to do with institutional ETF-driven inflows coming in here. It's going to get pretty crazy. So check it out. I feel the same way. So Alex Becker is saying, but I'm not, because this is exactly how the market feels before Max Up said, hold on, it's going to be worth it. And I really do feel the same way. Alex Becker, I will give him credit for being one of the few major, influencers in the crypto space. He's definitely acknowledged in the crypto space, more so like he's really made a lot of his money actually, not from crypto, but he's made it from selling things online, selling software, selling stuff online, like building businesses. Like he's actually made more money doing that. So, but he really has called for altcoin season, has been pretty much perma bullish, while a lot of influencers that have a very similar following were super, super bearish. And so we give Alex Becker, the award, the altcoin season award. Since we're talking about awards and the Nobel Peace Prize, we'll give Alex Becker the altcoin season Peace Prize for constantly saying F you alt season. More up. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Make sure you are hitting that like button on the way in. That is the best way that you guys can help just support this channel. It's the YouTube currency. And good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jordan. Good morning, Steve Hickey. We got Headband. Let me know who you are in the chat. And if you want to, if you want to be a lurker, you can be a lurker. That's fine. But we would love to hear from you. We'd love to give you a shout out, give you some support as well. Yeah, so let me know how you guys are feeling. Let me do a little market check-in, a little roll call. And we got people watching on X as well. We got Mike D. Sproto in the house. 10 coffees for 10K viewers. Nice, yeah. As you can see, we got we're chilling. We're chilling. We're doing little secret chills. And speaking of secret chills, guys, go to my website and let me know what you think. It's funny, we had Rodney. We went on Rodney's my crypto journey. I don't know if you guys know who Rodney is, but we appreciate Rodney. He's one of the accounts that we've followed for a little while, and we see him grinding. He's one of Jake Gagan's buddies, and so we crashed his stream and we started talking about drumming and metal music, and I completely derailed his stream, but he was nice enough to pull up one of the videos, and I guess he didn't realize I was a drummer, and then he pulled up one of the videos. He was like, oh shit. So it was fun. But yeah, we might do a collab. And he pulled up my website and he was like, bro, this is your website? You need to get a better website. I said, this website's just fine. This is my brain. This is my brain on the internet. So it's literally all my stuff. It's all my things, my music, my crypto, my personality. You got to go fast. And this is actually what I wanted to show you guys. I just wanted to show you that you can just make stuff. You can just make stuff. You don't have to really ask for permission too much for things when it comes to coding, and you could just do stuff. You just code. Code is free speech. Big proponent of that. Richard Hart literally beat the SEC with code being free speech, and no one gave a rip. And then everyone's over here like goggling over, on CZ over here. CZ literally couldn't beat a case, went to jail, paid $4 billion, and he comes out and everyone's like, oh, CZ, he's back. Oh my God, CZ. And I'm like, yeah, guys, you can keep getting bamboozled by the Chinese, but I'll be over here in America. In America, I don't know, like all these crypto people just like kissing the damn ring on CZ, and it's like, what? Like, no. Richard Hart actually did beat the SEC, is an actual full libertarian promotion of free speech, and we're over here gurgling CZ. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I think it's atrocious. I will not be partaking. I will not be partaking in that ring kissing that's happening. I got my ecosystem, my projects that I believe in, and I do not need to kiss the ring. All right. So what you can do, I digress, is you could just do stuff. You could just work for your bags. Tickers Bitcoin. The ticker's always been Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin. We love BTC. And the fact that you can get a Bitcoin on Ethereum is the biggest in-game laugh rotation that I could ever think of. And we realized this a while ago, but it's just gotten stronger over time, especially when we've had so many memes come out. We've had so many things hit the markets, basically just copying this, basically just copying the true original, egregore meme community that basically creates itself, but also driven by the background movements of the team. There is a team, there are people that are making moves, but it's also, the community, the Sprotos, they're so creative, so they end up creating the memes themselves. It's a creative machine. That's how any meme community should be. It's how, like, think about it, Doge, Shib, like Pepe, the people that are in those communities, and a lot of them, they're ticker Bitcoin holders too, because they understand that is what is going to really drive the quote, the internet market, capital market economy. Well, it actually is driven by stuff like this in the background. We know this, and this is just really our thesis, and it really does line up very much so with how Morad, in his big talk that kind of spurred the thought process of thinking about these VC vaporware coins promising all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you realize that they have 60% of the supply locked up with early investors and angel investors that they're just going to unlock and dump on your head at multiple different points of the chart. So then you start to realize that, the community can have control over, it really, what is going to make the moves of this coin. It's like, is it gonna crash and burn, or are we gonna make this thing a nice slow build? So I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but I really hope you do. If you don't care. All right, so check it out. I built this, and I've been trying out just making little custom dashboards for, say, like ticker Bitcoin or Pulse Chain. We're gonna show you the ticker Bitcoin one. I thought Grok did a really good job. So we've used ChatGPT for coding, and I think Grok has a certain type of style to it. If you've noticed, whenever you're coding things on ChatGPT, it has a certain style, and also Grok has a specific style. It's like these language models are developing their own types of like personalities, I think, over time. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this develops in the next like 5 to 10 years. Especially with just like being able to just code stuff, just make things like this. And this was took a couple tries, but we kept messing around with it. This one kind of just built in these total like bullish metrics, and you can see it built up these little tabs. It's just fun. I don't know. It was just fun. Yeah, we're lost. You lost me here. All right, so now let's get to the Pulse Chain dashboard. This is actually the thing that I really wanted to show you, because I thought this was super cool. So, of course, you can go to Dex Screener. You can go to this new Pulse Chain stats website, pulsechainstats.com, pulsechainstats.com. And it actually did a pretty good job of doing this this custom dashboard. The API is a little weird. The API keying and how it's going to gather the data, you have to kind of play with it a little bit. But if you're wanting to just have your own way with your own style that you want to look at your ecosystem, whether it be TON whether it be Pulse Chain. So in this case, I used Pulse Chain, but you can do it for anything. And it's actually a cool way that you can just build your own custom view of looking at an ecosystem. So what this one did is it didn't get the PLS token overview right. That this one, I gotta fix it because I want the core coins to show up here. But it gave me the correct network stats. Transactions in the day is 390,000. And if you go to Dex Screener, I'm gonna duplicate this tab so then I can go to Pulse Chain. And if you look, transactions, 24-hour transactions, 363,000. So I mean, it's pretty dead on. 24-hour volume is 18 million. So let's see if there was a transactions per second is 4.5 transactions per second. Transactions today, then total addresses, 414 million addresses. Is that correct? Is that the correct total amount of addresses? I guess that's right. Total blocks, network utilization is only at 51%. And then this actually brings you to the scan.pulsechain.com website. So yeah, I did a pretty good job. This is the part that I thought was really cool, is it actually built a proper token lister where you can get the 24-hour change on these tokens. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought I did a really good job doing this. And you got the UFO token, you got some usual suspects in here, teddy bear. You can see the Grays currency. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, guys, check that out if you want to mess around with it. Go on danocrypto.com and just navigate around this thing. This website's becoming more and more like the Ticker Bitcoin website, where it's just like an ADD, ADHD schizo mess. But that's how we like it. That's how we like it. But I don't know if you guys noticed the message from Pavel Durov, the CEO and creator of Telegram and also the Ton chain. This popped up in your Telegram. I don't know if you read it, but it's basically hinting at the fact of what's happening with the UK, with the EU, and also what happened to him where he got ambushed. Said a dark dystopian world is approaching fast. Said while we're asleep, our generation risks going down in history as the last one that had freedoms and allowed them to be taken away. We've been fed a lie. Said we've been made to believe that the greatest fight of our generation is to destroy everything our forefathers left us: tradition, privacy, sovereignty, the free market, and free speech. By betraying the legacy of our ancestors, we've set ourselves on a path towards self-destruction, moral, intellectual, economic, and ultimately biological. So no, I'm not going to celebrate today. I'm running out of time. We are running out of time. And he's mentioning that because he turned 41 and he's like, I don't feel like celebrating. He's like, what do I have to celebrate? He's like, if what the way that it's looking, where the once free countries are basically introducing dystopian measures as the digital ID, as also the EU wants stablecoin regulation super tight, so then they can make sure that whatever stablecoin is going to be put into your digital ID'd app that has everything in it, they're going to starve you out if they don't like what you say. And we've just seen this. It happens. It's already happening in China with the social credit score. They can basically, if they know that you are a troublemaker, if you're a troublemaker and you're a squeaky wheel, you're very vocal. Maybe you're going against what the government is wanting to do. Yeah. Guess what? Your money is then going to be gone. They'll take half your money. They won't deposit. They'll limit the amount of groceries that you can get. They'll literally just kill you by means of monetary destruction on your life. So That's why privacy is so important. That is why privacy is so important. You kind of forget the fact that, like, oh yeah, it is actually important to be private, because at a point where the system and the government has full control to be able to say, yeah, we're going to turn that off. We're going to turn that off. We're going to debank you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then if you can't do anything about it, if there's this whole system in place to be just where you literally can't do anything about it. So I wonder, at what point are we going to see this in-game rotation of all these crypto millionaires that are going to be created in the next 6 months? Are we going to all be pivoting into privacy? And this is where I'm going to caveat into us looking at privacy coins. And then we're going to get into Zara, which I've been following now thanks to Headband. Headband was really tipped on this money and was following the dev, knowing that they were going to have this migration from their pump fund token, which this is actually, if you think about it, people give pump fund a hard time, and there's a big dichotomy here, and in terms of like what the ethics of like something like pump fund. You do realize that because it is a free market, it is an open market in this sense that, like, you can use pump fund for good, you can use pump fund for bad. And it's just like Bitcoin. You can use Bitcoin for bad if you want to be a complete degenerate to society. You could use Bitcoin to do terrible things. It's just like cash and money. You could be using it to not go, be basically going against God. Or you could use money in the blockchain for good. And it's just the same like the analogy with the knife. You can, use the knife to have it for the utility that it's made for, or you could do the other thing. So, but do you ban the knife? Do you say, nope, no more knives. We can't sell any more knives because this. And so what we have to realize as humans is that there is levels of risk, but what that is, then there's the trust. I'm going to trust you to not take that knife and try and hurt me with it. I hope you're just going to cut my steak with it. So there's all these levels of trust, then trustless. It's like, where does the line and where does everything cross? It's tricky, but that's where we come into our ultimate beliefs of how we want to live our lives with our families and with other people that are in this world as well. And so, do we want to be able to have control over our money? Yes. We don't want people to be able to take it away. So privacy is going to be a big issue, especially when everything is going on chain, and it's not going to be like the old ledger where you could double, triple, quadruple spend stuff because people will just see it on chain. So are you guys following me here? Are you following me? I hope you're following me. Usually when I start talking like this, I drop about half the viewers because you're like, where's the next 100x? I'm telling you the next 100x right now. It's privacy coins. It's privacy coins, my friends. It's meme coins with no controlled supply, and privacy coins and Bitcoin, and probably most of the vaporware tokens and all this stuff and this crap that were being sold. That's the stuff that might actually end up going to zero. And all the stuff that we're talking about here is going to be the in-game last rotation. I don't know, but we're going to bet on it. So you want to know what the next freaking 100x is? That might be it. That might be it, my friends. Okay, so in terms of the privacy coins and trading volume, now trading volume wise, why is Zcash getting so much trading volume? Well, we know Zcash is available on more exchanges than the other privacy coins, like said Monero. Monero has literally like a quarter of the trading volume because of that fact. Now, is that bullish? That actually could be bullish, because the moment that people start to go into Monero and some exchanges start to actually get more Monero support instead of taking it away, like delisting it, then holy crap. That's when you start getting $1,000, $2,000 Monero, and people start to realize that Monero is probably potentially better tech. But then we have something like Zera, where we have people that are building these privacy zero knowledge ZK protocols that are intended to, when you send your assets in, it obfuscates and then makes it to where you actually have privacy to where you can send from person to person without it, I'm probably doing a terrible job explaining it, whatever, but you get the idea. There's going to be things like Zera, which I'm seeing it now across the timeline, that people are starting to notice that Zera is signing these NDAs, they're signing these contracts. So this is actually why I started it, because I was completely just like headband. I mean, I get it. I know it's like the monopoly money thing. Okay, and then they're going to migrate. All right, cool. We've seen it before, but something, I don't know. It's like I feel like it's instinctual, it's intuition, that because we're having this, the eyes are starting to go towards privacy, towards things like Dash, Zcash, Monero, the Oasis. I've seen Rose starting to get talked about because people started to remember, oh yeah, Rose is a privacy chain that also has to do with AI as well. So starting to get pretty interesting here. And so why I would want to keep my eye on something like Zera is that it's very much early, super early. It's like investing in a company, like in the very much early startup days. It's 30 million. And we've given an example of how other projects that don't have anything, like devs doing stuff. It's just like a whatever. It's just a coin that's on the market to be able to bundle up and fabricate a market cap and trading volume by bots. And then it looks like it's something going on, but really it's just like, it's fully fabricated. So something like this, where there's like 2,400 holders, a very kind of like tight community that's focusing on it right now and paying attention. This is something that you can see end up going to hundreds of millions of dollars in market cap, but in a way that's sustainable and not like a pump and dump, because they obviously are working on something. They don't want it to be a pump and dump. I would imagine, at least my best guess, but we've seen it happen before. But something like this is great, because if the privacy narrative continues, which I think it will, I think it's going to be one of the last rotations. It just makes sense. Think all the you crypto millionaires making all this money, all the people in institutions realize that, okay, like we made all this money, where are we going to go? Boom. Then you start to see all the privacy coins really start to jump up in price towards the end, and that might be one of the last altcoin rotations. It would be very interesting to see that happen, and I would love to see if we can build up a nice little bag of something under 50 million, under 100 million market cap that is playing on that narrative, and we could see just like a substantial growth. Because you just think, like, I think of what has gone into the over 100 million and has sustained it. Garbage. Absolute trash. Copycats, stuff that no one is really like, you like, really, this is going to sustain a community? I just don't see this happening. And we see those things getting propped up. So this is why I have a little bit more faith in something like this to be able to get up into these numbers, but in a healthy way, sustainable way, nothing that looks like fake or fabricated, which is a lot of the times, like half the stuff on Sol, a lot of the stuff on Binance Smart Chain is completely fake and fabricated in terms of like what's actually happening. Like, I don't believe it. It looks very kind of similar to how when things were getting bundled and propped up on Sol, and I mean, it's the same playbook is happening over and over again with these rotations in the chain. And so what we have to do, and this is the best example I can give of where you want to get your alpha. You guys are always wondering about the alpha. So pay attention to Polygon. That's an obvious place where you have ecosystems like QuickSwap. You have a lot of stuff happened on QuickSwap that if you just go in there, that's like early stuff right there. QuickSwap itself as a token on Polygon. Then you have Pol itself. You have oh gosh, I mean there's just going to be whoa, and look at this bet. Look at the liquidity in this thing, $147 million in liquidity. I wonder what they're getting ready to set up for. Yeah, a bunch of people coming in on chain on Polygon. And check this out. BetFin is a fully decentralized staking and gaming platform that connects players with investors. Betting, sports betting, on-chain betting, and this is where the action is going to start happening. Look at what Pavel Durov just gave basically gave us the go-ahead to be like, let's all get bullish on TON and start to use the wallet and be decentralized, so then we can continue to show by our usage of these blockchains that we don't want a CBDC, we don't want some freaking central bank-backed digital currency BS, we want true, free, nice, liquid, sound, permissionless money that we can not get rugged on. That's what we want. And so let's show them. Go on the TON chain, start messing around with TON chain. Look, you got Resistance Dog about a year ago. You got these, things that were, everyone was just talking about it just like months and months and months ago. And then it's on to the next thing. And guess what? Still there. And that's how you end up being massively, massively early. Sui. Everyone was like, Sui's gonna absolutely crush and be one of the top performing altcoins over Solana. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. But they're still there. They're still building. You got the Wall token, Walrus. I look at the liquidity, Walrus. You got memes. You got the, what is it, Lo-Fi? I don't know. Just keep going down the ecosystems and be here early in these things, and don't be chasing Binance Smart Chain, CZ, Kissring, crap. Remember Tron? Remember Tron season? Arbitrum? So just look in all these places, and I guarantee you will find something early. Bybit's been hinting at a lot of stuff that's pushing volume into Mantle. I mean, that's an early spot. Pulse Chain, like we've talked about many times, very early spot. I think this is going to be one of the craziest rotations that we will ever see, because Pulse Chain's down bad. It's the most made fun of community in crypto, because of the nature of the sacrifice, from the sacrifice price of where we were, basically like Ivan even sacrificed. We had a lot of people give up after the fact, where it just was not performing, and a lot of people went into Sol. But there's still people that have survived and are still in here believing that there will be some type of redemption arc for Pulse Chain. And I think if you're smart and you're in crypto, and this is not financial advice, is that if there's any ecosystem that has been made fun of as much and has, quote, died 1,000 deaths, but then still has people in here building and still like surviving and having more trading volume than some of these things that are not gate kept as much as Pulse Chain, it would be smart to put a couple $100 in there, because then you're buying the absolute bearish bottom, the absolute bottom where people will laugh at you for saying that you even contributed volume to Pulse Chain. You, my friend, just did something that could potentially give you 100x. That's the bet, because how much more lower can you freaking go? That's how I have felt about ticker Bitcoin, where I'm like, I don't see any lower than damn 2-3 cents. You know, and that's usually been the support, like where we've been like, all right, I mean, we've died 10 times. What else can come back from the ashes like a phoenix? So that's the alpha, guys. It's just, you gotta not be like where you have the timeline of crypto Twitter trying to get you to be exit liquidity. You need to be entrance liquidity to the early adoption of the best asymmetric upside places that are in crypto. If you want the best asymmetric upside, you have to be buying the bottom, not the pico freaking top of Binance and BNB, where they've been manipulating that damn thing all the way up to the top by methods of wash trading to Wintermute. We've even caught it ourselves. A lot of times we go to Marty Party, but we were like, we're going to look at this crap ourselves. And what contributed to all this dumpage? It was the damn wash trading of Binance. And you wonder why the token is up where it is. And you bet your butt they're going to use all that money in exit liquidity to just buy the crap that you should have already been buying beforehand. Guess what? Then Binance is going to be buying Pulse Chain tokens. Do you want to be buying Pulse Chain after the fact that Binance says they're going to be listing tokens, and then all of the freaking haters of Pulse Chain come in and start buying tokens and they get a better entry than you? Oh God, Sami would probably literally rip his nipples off. They were pegged, but he'll probably just rip them off. Like if that would be the case. But no, we're not going to let that happen. It's just like with ticker Bitcoin, you know, we have been bullish ticker Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the shit that people think is just like laughable, and we're not going to dare then start chasing price with everyone else towards the end. No, we're doing it now. And that's how we're going to succeed. You buy the pain and you just hodl on for the best asymmetric upside. And that's what literally all the Bitcoin maxis did. That's what the Bitcoin, quote, maxis had to do. They had to hold through all that freaking pain, the funerals, the laughs, the spit. I mean, gosh, how much spit has been in Bitcoin people's faces over the past 13 years? Y'all, I'm going to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War, then cry that I didn't get a Nobel. No, well, you got to remember, guys, Trump's ego, it's like he has a big ego, you know, but that's fine. I'd rather have a president that has a big ego than someone who doesn't and wants to just be like, let's help the world, you know. I don't want to do it just for my own, you know, greatness and glory, so then I'm recognized as the hero. No, but I think with Trump with the Nobel Peace Prize, we're going to get into it. But the only reason, okay, so the only reason why I think Trump, I wouldn't have been mad if he got the Nobel Peace Prize, is that, do you guys remember like who got the Nobel Peace Prize? It was freaking Obama. Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize for 8 years of selling out the American people. You got the Nobel Peace Prize? Out of all the shady back deals that Obama did, and he got the Nobel Peace Prize? I don't know about that. So that's why I'm like, actually, I would have way more agreed with Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize, especially when you start to mention the person who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Where is it at? Where the heck did our article go? I think we did we repost it? There it is. Oh, okay, yeah, we reposted. I could not find it. This was Trump's comments on it.
I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. And I've stopped 8 wars. So that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. And that's the thing that bothers me so much about the Russia-Ukraine. 7,000 people are dying a week. Young soldiers. They're almost all soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. So in theory, it doesn't affect us, no, but it's a terrible thing. And we'll get that solved too. But nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
And he does make a point. He's making a point, honestly. Like, if you think about it, and the amount of time and some people will, and here's the thing, I can play on the both sides. Look, I get it. Like, I'm not an idiot, you know. I know that people are going to think, okay, look, Trump, you're in with Israel. There's this whole ethnic cleansing that's going on all in the background, and you shouldn't be supportive of it. And if anything, there's this weird kind of thing going on with Gaza where they're like, oh, there's a ceasefire, but really, is there a ceasefire? You know, that's what I hear from the other side, who are opposed and don't want to glorify the peace deal. And then one of them is Candace Owens. Candace Owens is like, hey, I'm not going to not acknowledge the fact that there has been a genocide happening, whether you want to believe it or not, and that there's something weird going on. So that's from the other side, okay? That's the gripe. Now, on the other hand, you could, if you want to believe, you have the right to, is that if you believe Trump is playing some kind of freaking 12D chess, that's always been the thing. If you just want to have a little bit more faith and hope that things are getting better and not getting worse, then you would be more on the side thinking, okay, Trump might be trying to get the enemies closer, like the classic strategy is, because he is a deal maker. I mean, you got to think he's like one of the best deal makers in the world, and he's the president of the United States. And so there's a lot of invested interest for there not to be war, because under a presidency where you have massive wars happening, your legacy is not going to look too damn good. Okay, your legacy is going to look like shit. And so I think what is happening here, because of why I mentioned about Trump's ego and the legacy, is that I think that Trump does care about the lives being lost. I would like to believe that lives lost in Ukraine and Russia, between both sides, lives lost between the Gaza with Palestinians and Israelis, people, Iranians. I mean, I really do. I believe that. I think just the sheer number of lives lost because of the conflict, if he's got any damn, you know, any empathy in his body, then he's trying to do it because he just really does want the killing to stop, you know, and he wants, you know, deals to be made. And so I hope that that's the case, and it's not purely driven by monetary means of trying to, you know, continue the colonial takeover of the entire world. So, because that's kind of like, if you think about it, what it is. If we end up seeing a Trump Tower, and Candace Owens made a comment saying, like, if we all think that we're just gonna, you know, all be vacationing in Gaza at the Trump Tower and not thinking that that's cursed land, then you're sadly mistaken. And I was like, shit, oh man. it starts to kind of make you think a little bit. But hey, you know, I'm not extreme one way or the other. I'm trying to just understand all of this and navigate my way through it. And how do you do it? Well, you got to get rich and you got to build up your investments, and crypto's the answer. Because at the end of the day, all politicians lie. You don't really know actually what's happening, but what you do know is happening is that your dollars are being printed out of thin air, and the numbers are lies. Everything that they've been telling us is a lie. And so what do? You need to go more towards truth. And what is truth? The way and the light. It's Jesus Christ. And what is the way that we can get closer to that? Is by going to God every single day and asking for God's forgiveness and for guidance, and also to get our money right. Because if we can get our money right, and the basis of all of what has been happening in our administration and in our country, and why we've been so discontinued and disconnected from each other, is because the sheer underlying principles of our money is effed up. And so our money's bad. Our society can't operate properly because of our ethics and our morals have completely gone astray. It's just like there's a big group of people that think everything should be open. You have no boundaries. They think you should accept everything because it's someone's feeling. It's how they, you know, all this stuff. And it's just like, no, I don't have to do that. That is where I think we've gone so wrong, is that there's this level where they're just like, oh yeah, just let everything be open to where your kids can be completely taken over and manipulated by these very evil, nefarious things that are trying to infiltrate into the minds of people. And what is it doing? It's showing that you should just let anything come into your body. Just let anything come in. Good, bad, makes you feel uncomfortable. And if you feel uncomfortable about it, nope, don't talk about it because you're going to offend someone. Oh, nope, that's not the right this or that. Needs to be full. No, we do need boundaries. And it goes back to the thing with privacy. We need boundaries, we need privacy, and we need a blueprint of freaking ethics and morals to go by, so then our society can heal. But we can't even agree on those basic things. So no wonder we're in the boat that we're in. And it does underline with how our money has been operated. If we were operated and if our money was being operated in a way that actually served the American people, we would not be fighting about race. The whole thing with Antifa and the race thing and fascism, no kings, all this crap, you know, all that's funded and paid for by Soros and by big media and big pharma. All the big, basically, like the things that are pulling the strings and fabricating all of this disconnect, that is funded and it's fake. It's not even real. They've proven that these people that go to these protests, they cart them and they bus them to city to city to city, and they see the same people going to the same rallies, and they have the same signs. They give them the information. They give them all this. So it's not a organic movement like you think it is. It's not organic. It's completely fake and fabricated. That movement that you're seeing right now is not real. It's to distract you from the fact that if we were to wake up to the fact that that's not real, we wouldn't be fighting with each other. We'd be looking at the Fed and we'd go, you. And the jig is up. That's why they do this. It's all a play to get you to fight and get you to think that the person across the table from you is your enemy because they might be black or whatever it is. They put all these damn issues in or whatever it is on the other side. It's just trying to freaking make everyone fight with each other to distract you from the fact that they are manipulating and lying about everything. It's pretty obvious at this point. And we're not falling for it. And I think a lot of people were waking up to it and waking up to that fact. And what did they do? They did this. They do the same thing they do every freaking time, my friends. That elusive thing that knows when people start to freaking wake up, what do? Every damn time. Every damn time. Every time. That should show you, that should prepare you for the next thing that happens, because they're not going to give up. But guess what? Jesus always has one more move. I saw a video and it showed this painting. A master chess player analyzed the painting. Everyone, he was in a group and in this tour saw this painting called Checkmate. Everyone went to the next painting. The master chess player stood at the painting and he looked at it and he examined it. He said, you know, people would look at this and look and see that it looks like the devil won. Like it looks like it's checkmate, because you see the man like this. He's like, man, the devil's got me checkmated. But guess what? Jesus, the king, always has one more move against Satan. Jesus always has one more move. Always. Because you cannot hide from the truth and the light. You can't. So just like Cat Williams said, all lies are being exposed. All of it's being exposed. And guess what all started to happen the moment that the lies started to get exposed? All this media stuff started happening. We had everyone getting distracted. We were about to get closer and closer to the Epstein files. That got bonked. And just look how they do it every freaking time. That is black magic. That's black magic. You don't think there's magical warfare happening like right in front of your eyes? It's literally magical warfare. It's magical warfare. And why am I talking about this? Because you know that crypto is all a part of this, right? You know that crypto is all a part of it. Funny enough, some people think that crypto is the mark of the beast. You got it all wrong. This was the mark of the beast. This was always it. That's always been it. Is the Fed. Why do you think Bitcoin really is so important? So I think the Nobel Peace Prize should go to Satoshi Nakamoto. I think it should go to Satoshi Nakamoto. What do you guys think? Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Wick. Shout out to Steve Hickey. Shout out to Trade Intuition. Thank you guys for being here. We got on the rant. We got on the rant boat. We got to get off. We got on the rant boat. I don't know what happened. GB says prepare for the fake aliens. Yeah, that's another big one. This is another big thing that I think is gonna come down the pipe here, and I really don't want. I'm praying to Jesus that that won't be the case, because that's gonna change the fabric of our reality and our world for a very long time. If they false flag and false create a alien invasion to, quote, bring the world together in a new world order government, that's going to suck. Like, I'm not going to like that. I don't want that. But there are some people that believe that could be coming down the pipe, where look at all the slow drip of all of the disclosure. Think about the disclosure movement over the past 5 years. If we would have gotten the information that we've gotten disclosed to us over the past 6 years, and we would have gotten that same information disclosed to us 10 years earlier, completely different reaction. The whole world would have been paying attention, but we had all of these crazy things be disclosed and no one cared. They were like, when's the new Game of Thrones coming on? I don't give a crap. Why do you think oh my gosh. We would have been like freaking out. So it's really, really weird that we had all of this disclosure stuff, all these hints, all of these things priming us. Think about the Super Bowl ads. The Super Bowl ads were very much so all geared towards aliens and UFOs and normalizing this. Like, do you understand? So there's so much alchemy and magic happening in our world that you can't even begin to grasp the level that these people know, okay? You don't realize how powerful this is. Okay, let me just give you a little rabbit hole to go down, okay? Here's a rabbit hole for you. Where do you think Hollywood comes from? Where do you think the movie industry and cinema and the movie screen and all of that stuff even spans from? It's all magic. It's all magic. It is a alchemical system that is used to skew perception and to actually create false realities inside of a movie. But what you don't realize is that is a magical ceremony of creating it and putting it in the physical to then manifest it into reality. Now, I don't have a specific word for it. There are words for it, but right off the top of my head, I can just explain to you that this is the whole basis of how reality in our society is controlled by the perception of the media through the movies, through TV, through the news, and you think it's just entertainment, but really it's called programming. And what that program is doing is programming your perception in your mind and in your reality. And then because the way our consciousness and our spheres are all connected together through morphic resonance, we then create the perception of what's being brought to us, and that's what ultimately puts in and creates the said reality that ends up happening. So that's why when you see these movies that came out years ago and prophesy that the things that are going to happen in the future, then they actually happen, you think it's a coincidence. But what you don't realize is that it was purposefully done. Then you want to go down a bigger rabbit hole. Guess what? The story of Jesus was all prophesied in the books, in the Hebrew text, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, that there was to be a Son of God to come into the world. And what happened? That happened. But it was written first. It was prophesied first. So do you get what I'm saying here? So, it goes deep as hell. So you'll start to really watch what you say, watch what you pray for, watch what you wish upon you or anyone else, and what you say and what you write and what you mean. Because as above, so below, as what you think will become the reality. If you think the world's shit, you're going to live in a world that's shit. If you think the world is a great place and it's going to get better and better, it will. But man, that rabbit hole, you can really drop down that one. You'll be like Alice tumbling down that rabbit hole, my friends. And you'll never come back. And that's the thing. You'll never come back. You're not coming back. Once you see the Wizard of Oz, you will never be the same. You will never be the same. You're not going to work a normal job. You're going to probably create your own company. You're going to become a millionaire. You are going to never look at the world the same. You have to be prepared for that because there's no going back. You can't see and start to see this and not unsee it. And that's what the power of this is. And when you start to break out of the matrix, you start to realize this stuff. And that's why it's so powerful. And that's why the counter system, the counter of that awakening uses the tactics. And then let me just be brutally honest, of doing something like killing Charlie Kirk. And as far as something like 9/11, all of those things, that is the same force that is countering the awakening of the people. Oh, baby, look at Bitcoin, man. Oh, Bitcoin just freaking dumped on people's heads today. Woo! Oh my gosh. Man, it went right into that range, guys. So sorry, we didn't even cover Bitcoin. We just got right into the ranties. We got into the ranties. Who cares? Sometimes you guys like to come to this stream just to hear me rant, so... And if you are that person, you might be a psychopath. So here's the deal. The market got us excited. Look, it ranged us, bull trap, boom, right into this pinch point. A lot of liquidity sitting down here. Probably could match that up with some of the liquidation levels. So let's look at the liquidation heat map. Let's see how this is looking. Liquidation heat. Yeah, there's a lot of liquidity sitting right there, right at that bottom spot. Still some sitting down here at the 116. If they wanted a max pain, us, they'd be going down to 116. Let's see the liquidation max pain, because then that would be... Okay, so long max pain for Bitcoin would be actually 118,000. That is like where it's gonna, it'll really hurt some people, especially the long. So, but on short max pain, we would be hitting at 123. But there is a lot of shorts that are going to get wrecked at 123,000. So if that's the case, oh man, that they would love to do that. So that would be right up into this range. They would do a V-shaped recovery. And by they, I mean the market makers, Binance, Coinbase, OKX, Bybit, all the usual suspects. I bet right now, if we were to look at Arkham and look at Wintermute, they're just like inflowing the crap of Sol and BTC and ETH into Wintermute. Probably customer funds too. And then look, and then they'll go up to the upside. You realize too why I think that's true. Why they're actually using customer funds, because they don't have proof of reserves of Sol, and so why? So where is that Sol coming from? So they're probably people are depositing their Sol into Binance, and then Binance is using customer fund Sol to wash trade into Wintermute. Because guess what? If every single person decided they wanted to withdraw Solana off of Binance, they would shut the network down. You realize that, right? They would shut the network down. I think even Coinbase would be going as far as if everyone tried to bank run Coinbase right now, we would then, the lie would be revealed that they've been selling paper Bitcoin, but a lot of the times, and they really truly actually don't have as much Bitcoin as they say they do. I have this theory. Don't quote me ever on this. This is literally tinfoil hat theories, but I might be proven right here over the next year or two, because the price will just show that. The price will just show that. I think we're going to have a true supply shock, and why Bitcoin's going to go to $500,000 sooner than later is that that's the case. These exchanges are dirty. You know, they do some dirty, and that's why it's better just to hold your stuff on chain, on your own devices, because the moment that things get hot, guess what? You're the first one that's going to get rocked. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about themselves, and they don't care about customers. Any like exchange that says they care about the customers are liars, and they will 100% wreck every single freaking user, say you can't access your account, and good luck. So when things start to get real hot and real euphoric, you better get your freaking coins off the exchanges. And no KOL out there is going to tell you that. They're just going to promote you all this stuff all day, and I'm going to be the real one here and tell you, get it off. Get it off the exchanges. Yeah, trade, but you need to hold your own stuff in your own wallets. Okay? Hold your own stuff in your own wallets, because the moment that things get bad, you're the first one to go. You're the first one to go. You're the first one to act. You're just the pawn in the extraction game, which is the exchanges. Everything's on chain now, and everything can be held in your own wallet. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse. That is my biggest warning to you guys, is that, like, I don't care what incentives these exchanges offer. Use them and then lose them. I'll die on that sword. I don't care, because I got burned, man. A lot of people got burned on FTX and Voyager and freaking BlockFi, all that crap. Every KOL in the business was promoting those things and not promoting the risk factors. So now we should have all learned our lessons, and we should be helping the new people coming into crypto and explaining to them, yes, you're going to probably download these exchanges, but look, hey, there's a freaking MetaMask Phantom, and there's all these wallets that you can custodian yourself, and you can now buy Bitcoin and all these assets on these apps. So it's like, use the whole market, but just know when things start to get crazy, they'll stop the sell button. They'll stop the network. They'll say, oh, we're in maintenance right now. Yeah, my ass, you're in maintenance. Yeah, no, you're trying to figure out how to not have people realize that you don't have all the customer funds. Ass hats. So basically, so get prepared for that. For real, I'm dead ass serious. You don't think I'm kidding? You better prepare for it. I'm like, do you hear anyone else saying this? No, I watch all of crypto. I watch everyone. Wick said, why is there crypto on my rant channel? That's what I thought. Some people do come to this channel to watch my dumb head rant, but I'm like, hey, that, again, you guys are, I think you are special. You're a special type of person if you come here just to listen to me rant. Does anyone know who this is? Nobel Peace Prize awarded to democracy activist Maria Corina Machado. No one knows who that is. And this is what's crazy. Yeah, so no one knows who this lady is, but then they give Obama was given the Nobel Peace Prize for getting elected as a black man. That's it. Like, that was it. He's like, oh, it's just like he then went on to drop 26,000 drone strike bombs in more than 7 countries and deepened racial division in America to unprecedented levels. And I agree. We explained this. Trump has signed more peace deals and stopped more wars in the first 6 months of his presidency than Obama ever did in 8 years. And then, not to mention, you remember Biden was the vice president, and he's supposed to be he's supposed to be the foreign affairs. The vice president is the person who controls the foreign affairs, and is the representative, and is the kind of like is the person who represents the United States when talking with other countries. Terrible job, worst foreign affairs administration we've ever had. And then, not to mention, people don't talk about this, but they don't remember this. Like, Obama also heavily manipulated the African government in the Congo, and created this whole like Obama side proxy army in Africa, directly funded by our administration, that caused all kinds of issues in certain parts of Africa. People don't talk about that. I mean, this dude caused so many issues under the guise of change and first black president and blah blah blah. It was all BS. Obama was the biggest deceptor and deception of any presidency we've ever experienced. We got fooled, and we were like, okay, but this guy might be, he's very charismatic, and I remember, he was also proposing to go to a complete full war with Iran. Remember that? And we were like, American people were like, no, we don't want to go to war. Dude was pushing war. Gets a Nobel Peace Prize. I remember that. I was like, the moment Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize, that lost credibility immediately. The Nobel Peace Prize lost credibility a long time ago when Obama received it. This is a dumb award, and this has just proven it too, because no one knows who the hell this is. It's pretty crazy. Man, alts are getting smashed. Alts are getting smashed right now, guys. When Bitcoin goes down like that, you better prepare. Alts just get smashed. But this is actually giving us some really nice entries, though. Got some really nice entries that we could potentially get into here on this nice little crash. 3-minute double bottom, but also could I mean, look, we got a little nice pinch up. But we got to watch out, because remember, we got that liquidity sitting down. We could get faked out, and we could bring it down to that max pain right in this area. We got some liquidity, want to sweep up. We got an order block here. Let's see that 45-minute order block. Yeah, it's down here. We got 116. Honestly, I would be looking for 116. I know that'd be really dirty. But looking at the 45-minute candles here, it's not looking too good, honestly. It's not looking too good. That was a nice bull trap right there. That was a nice little bull trap. Look, got people excited, ranged it, boom. You can even call that a bear flag if you'd want to, because look, perfect breakdown from the flag going to the opposite, right down. And so if it does it again, what it'll do is it'll chop like this, bear flag out again, and then the next level would be where that liquidity is sitting on that order block. So guys, I'm giving you my bearish case scenario here that Bitcoin's probably most likely gonna give more max pain here by chop it. It's gonna get right here. It'll chop, bear flag, boom. That's my best case scenario. Best case bear scenario. And then that's where you're gonna get a really nice bounce. Get a really nice bounce from there. Bull case as you go on a bigger time frame. And we can continue to test up. We create a inverse head and shoulders. You got that. Got this. Could come back up. Chop up range. Test. That's your bull case scenario. Bull case scenarios, we reverse from here. Bear case, we flag again, and we go to 116. So you got two levels here. You got an entry here at 116. So there's your entry, 116. Possible entry here if we do a continuation, but you got to have a set your take profits though. Like, so if you're going to be getting into this entry here, your take profit is going to be at the top of the flag back to 120. And that's where you're going to want to take some profits, assess your trade, set it to break even, trail the stop loss, and then see where it's going to go from there. Because then if it doesn't follow through by breaking past 120, then I think we would be then going down to this level. So then you could be ready on that. You could even go as far as taking a short if we get a nice rejection from 120, and then you can see how far you can take it. And you can just kind of do like an ATM strategy. Boom, take profit right here, short to the downside, and then you can catch another entry on the low. So there is your setups for Bitcoin. Ethereum. Let's look at ETH. Where's my ETH USD? Yep, ETH, nice candle to the downside as well, but we got really nice support here. If you see here, we got really nice support right there. That support had brought us up to 4,700 the previous time, so that's good. And then that was a nice 16% move to the upside. Possible. Oh, dang! Did we draw that? When did we draw that? Dang, that was like dead on. I said, look, they'll probably, like, if anything, they'll push that liquidity to 4,100, which, dang, that's exactly what happened. I think we were talking about that yesterday when we were charting ETH. We said, look, there's probably going to be a nice little, like, if we're going to give it, you know, before they crank it up, they'll bring it down, swoop it to this liquidity, and hopefully bring it back to the upside. It's got a nice sell block there. Another spot where we have to watch, and this is if Bitcoin does the bearish case scenario. So Bitcoin bearish case scenario, I'd be watching here for a that continuation flag to the downside. So we'd get one more bearish candle to shake people out right here, and then we get a bounce entry level right here. You do an entry here. And kind of very similar because they're following each other a little bit. We could go into the dominance too. We could go to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is trending back up, so it did bottom out a little bit here. It's trending back up though. Could get Bitcoin dominance going back up into the 60s, and if that's the case, and we have Ethereum dominance going down. So yeah, we're going to probably start to see some rotation, some action going back into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin break all-time highs. And then we'll start to see some inflows coming back into Ethereum. We'll see the dominance kind of flip again, and they'll just kind of start going up together in tandem. And we're not going to be getting alt season euphoria until Q1 2026. Altcoin season is not happening until Q1 2026. My reasoning is because of Litecoin. I'm using Litecoin. Litecoin recently just did see a pump up to the 618 or 786 here for speculation on the ETF. Now, We're still halfway in the timeline here of where we think altcoin season and taking profits is going to be a good place to do so. I think once we get inside of this range, this is where I want to really actually start to think about taking profits, assessing my portfolio, and where I would want to go with it. Do you have points where you think in your portfolio you're going to start thinking about that? Because I'm still in accumulation mode. I do not have enough crypto. I'm really just like on a mission, and I'm glad that we haven't seen. I'm glad the 4-year cycle is broken, because if it wasn't broken, then that was it. We screwed up. If the 4-year cycle was still relevant, then we would have to just basically chalk this up on the take it on the chin, go back to the drawing board, pack it up, wait till the next one. But at this point, we don't think that's the case. We think it really definitely got extended because, look, you can see here, here's the all-time high altcoin season in 2017. Here's the one in 2021. And look at the distance, okay? Now look at the distance between, it's very, very much way more extended. Let's like color this line too. We'll just color this line like here, like so, and look at the difference. We are overextended May, June, July, August, all the way into March. May, June, July, August, September, October. We're like 6 months extended. We're 6 months extended. That's why I think we've been given an extra 6 to 8 months to get it right. To load up is just to like not get shaken out, and just to continue to be a little bit delusional, but hopefully to our benefit. All right, my friends. Thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. We got 14 likes. Thank you so much. If you hadn't hit the like button yet, that would be cool. Hit that like button on the way out and on the way in. It is the YouTube's currency. If YouTube had a meme coin, it would be the like button. It would just be called like and then subscribe. We should do a pump fund meta section for YouTube. Make YouTube great again. Like, subscribe, and all 3 tokens serve as one, campaign to make YouTube great again. Less censorship. Oh, speaking of censorship, that was what we Andrew Tate. We have some comments on that particular post. Yeah. So speaking of censorship, YouTube suspends Andrew Tate's new channel just hours after it launched. So Andrew Tate launched a new YouTube channel on Friday morning, uploading a video about supercars, training, his lifestyle, while referencing the platform's recent policy on reinstating creators banned for specific violations. The channel was suspended within an hour, as reports by users on X following Tate's 2022 permanent ban for hate speech and harassment. The rapid action appears to enforce rules against circumventing prior bans amid mixed reactions on X supporting Tate's free speech claims and questions YouTube's sensitivity. Or YouTube's consistency. Oh, what did I say? Yeah, dang, just like an hour after. That's pretty crazy. And I wonder, AJ Writes Crypto, he did a Tate interview, and I wonder if his channel honestly probably got flagged. He probably took it down. Oh, okay, it's still there. It's there.
AJ Writes Crypto. Welcome to the channel. First of all, I want to say that this Andrew Tate interview you're about to watch is not only a big moment for
saying, am I going to go to a bank and try and
It's funny though, but I really did actually like Tate's answers in this interview because he was talking about Chainlink and he was like, we're all thinking it's going to be the backbone of crypto. It's the backbone of crypto. We're all being convinced to hold Chainlink, but he's like, it's not doing nothing. And I'm like, Tate understands. We all know. We all get convinced that we need to be holding Chainlink because it's the backbone of crypto. All the while you could hold Pepe and ticker Bitcoin and all these different meme coins, and they're just crushing it, asymmetric upside potential, crazy. And then Chainlink, we're like, oh, we hope it goes to $50 again. And we all call ourselves Link Marines, like or the XRP Army. Yeah, you know what happens with I don't even want to say it. Jesus, it's like we're referencing ourselves as these people, and it's crazy. I don't know what I don't know what else to tell you. Link Marine. They're like, join the army. Join the Army Reserves. I hope you guys have been appreciating the thumbnails. Trying our best to make better thumbnails. Here's an interesting clip.
Please,
yeah, my name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley pointed out the fact that he's been traveling all around the world and going to different cities, and in the places where he felt the most unsafe were some American cities, and I was like, that's a disgrace. Like it's embarrassing sometimes as an American that I can't even go to these cities with my family without feeling like I need to be packing like full-on Rambo equipment. Or like just literally having to have like my daughter like literally like chained on me. So then it's crazy. There's just our cities are a freaking mess, or a damn mess. My local city that's just as close to me, a damn mess. I don't go there.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Nick Shirley.
And when you say this to people who are far left, I guess, whatever, I'm tired of boxing people into stuff, but whatever. If you're just extreme on one side or the other, so say you're extreme left, when you're told that, when you say this, people get mad. They get mad. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's the truth. I mean, have you not like watched the actual, like instead of listening to the news and the media, have you watched clips from people that live there? That's the real news. That's what you remember when Twitter became famous because the news started to play Twitter clips of people live in the places where news was happening. They were getting news faster from Twitter than they were getting from boots on the ground of their people and their reporters. Do you get it? So when Elon says we're the media now, we're the actual media now, because if you just wait for the sources that are manipulated by big money, then you're probably not getting the true full story. But then when you actually see video proof evidence from a phone that's decentralized, that it's someone who's like caught it and saw it, and then you link that to other videos where people, then it's all together, then the truth ends up revealing itself. That it's freaking unsafe. And that it's ridiculous that it's happening this way. And places, they have to stand down and they can't even enforce the law because they're told not to. Because they're told not to. And you want me to believe that it's totally safe to go to those cities. Pretty naive.
I'm 23 years old. I'm a 100% independent YouTube journalist. And over the past year or so, I've been able to go to 15 countries. I've hung out with people in the gangs of Brazil, in the favelas, in the prisons of Secot, but yet the most dangerous places I have been here in the United States, unfortunately. And I've had the opportunity to show people about the protest Antifa here in the United States, and there's nothing organic about what they are doing here in the United States. I've watched people be bussed in from states. I've watched the same lady at a protest in Atlanta be bused to the protest in DC and then in New York City. There's nothing that is honest about what they are doing. And they have signs. I've seen the same signs here in DC and in London as well. It's a big organization and corporation that they're running. And people may wonder, like, what's the threat to us as Americans if we go? Well, you'll be labeled as a fascist, you'll be labeled as a Nazi, and they'll wish death upon you because they wish death upon me. And just last week in Portland, Oregon, I watched a lady get trapped in her car, surrounded by Antifa, and her sister messaged me after seeing the video. She said, the only reason I think my sister was safe is because you were there recording. I also was chased out by a member of Antifa who said he would smoke me, and next thing he knew, a DHS sniper had lasers on his chest. If he was not there, who knows what would have happened that day. These people are very dangerous, and people wonder how they're able to do it. It's the reason is because these cities are not enforcing the law. And why should these people be worried if the law is not being enforced? And we are not far right, nor are we far wrong. We're just right. And the truth about what's happening here in America with these groups is very dangerous. And I thank you, Mr. President, and your administration as well for acknowledging that.
Thank you very much. Stupid.
And while we were in the 4-year administration, literally these groups were being propped up by the Biden administration and were let loose on America. And it's honestly, if you're an American and you thought that was okay, you need to rethink it, and you should be ashamed of yourself, because it's ridiculous. Because all these groups and these things that have been happening, and people think these movements are real. They're totally bought and paid for by these big organizations that want America to die. Like, they want America to crumble from within. And how do you do that? You inject a disease. You inject a freaking virus into the body, and you have it to try and kill it off. And so that's exactly what I feel is happening. It's a systematic, deliberate chaos funded by a system in a web of where it's almost like they box and compartmentalize all these different organizations and companies, so then it obfuscates from the true person at the top who is actually funneling them and funding all of it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that they let him in here. But it's just because people like that. He's an independent news journalist, and he's on the boots on the ground. And see, people are putting their lives on the line for getting true news and information out there, while we have the mainstream media doing terrible journalism, where you can just kind of tell that they're very much one-sided and being bought. And so when you actually have people that are young kids that got a fire and they're out there and they got a camera, that's powerful. And that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was like, look, I got a camera, I got a mic, I'm out of college, let's go, let's have a chat. And that was very powerful. And it was starting to move and make waves. And so look at this. If you think things are going to get worse, you want them to get worse. If you think things are going to get better, you want it to get better. That's the difference. If you're an optimist, you're more likely in a collective optimistic society to get shit done. And if you're one that is, quote, very pessimistic and you think everything is going to crash and burn, we're all going to die, then are you really actually wanting to solve the issue, or are you just trying to possibly make things even worse? Here's the consumer sentiment political party of the Democrats, the Republicans, and the Independents. Look at the sentiment of the Republican Party compared to the sentiment of the Independents and the Democrats. Well, the sentiment is 100% like trending down fully for Democrats, the sentiment is trending up for the Republicans. So this person said, this isn't just political divide, it's bifurcation of reality. One group feels abundance is coming, which is either a conservative or a Republican, or maybe possibly even a more libertarian. Thinking hopefully we're getting closer in America to having, true free speech, and we do. But there's no free speech without consequence, and that's kind of like where people go, oh, it's all free speech. It's like, well, you can't just. Not everything's free. What you say has consequence, whether it be good or bad, because what you say creates your reality. We just talked about that early in the live stream, and people are like, yeah, you can say whatever you want, but so people still think you're an asshole. One sees green. So one group feels abundance is coming. The others feels the collapse. One sees green shoots, the other sees ashes. And what's wild is they're both right. That's what's crazy. Is like they are kind of both. So I thought about it. It's like, because yes, like all the numbers are fake. Everything, like people losing their jobs and all that stuff is worse than what they're saying. But then on the other side of it, we have all of this like AI stuff, tech bubble increasing, everything bullish we could ever want for crypto regulation. The tariffs are not a scare anymore. We know how the tariffs are working. It's just like we have bullish stuff to look forward to. Like I even said it the other day, whilst months and months ago, I felt gross and felt like we were going into a really dark time. I outside the other day looked at my wife and I said, I feel good. I said, I feel like we're going to a golden age. I said, I don't know if I'm just feeling, I don't know what it is, but I genuinely looked at her and I said, things are getting better. I said, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like things are getting better. And for the first time when I said that, I really believed it. And so I don't know. I don't know what that is. I feel like things are getting better. I want to believe that. So, but there is a underlining thing that is no one's really talking about, is that, or I mean, they should be talking about it. There's way more people sleeping in their cars than you might realize. Like, can't tell you how many cars I see where I see a whole blanket pillow set up in the dash because people are having to sleep in their car in the Walmart parking lot. It's a lot worse than you might think in terms of the jobs market, okay? Because if they really would tell the American people, like, hey, just so you know, about half of you are gonna not have a job, there'd be chaos. There'd be so much uncertainty, and so they're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna continue to pump the stock market, gold, and crypto, and they're gonna tell you that everything is fine. And how do they do it? They rebased and refinance the debt through making the debt ceiling bigger. And then they're going to rebase and refinance the quote debt by making it cheaper. Because consumer sentiment isn't just about facts, it's about belief fields. Belief, you hear that? The future isn't decided by numbers, it's decided by perception, by narrative, by which versions gains more energetic mass. You don't need everyone to believe it'll get better. You just need enough people to believe it can't. That's when markets die. That's when systems break. That's when panic goes viral. This chart is more sentiment. This chart is more than sentiment. It's foreshadowing. So it's weird. So I guess this is kind of just where we're at right now. How do we fix it? We continue to invest and we hopefully put our monies where liquidity is flowing, and it's definitely not into your savings account. It's definitely not in the dollar, holding it. We know that these institutions are loading and backing up the trucks because they can't hold the dollar. The dollar is terrible. No currency in the world now even wants to hold the dollar. Yeah. Well, guess what? The Antifa groups and the No Kings groups and the whatevers and all the groups that are going to push back on aggressiveness to go into the cities. Look at what they did in DC. If that's the case and that's real numbers, that 10 people a night were getting shot and killed in DC on a freaking Saturday and on a Sunday. On a Sunday, 10 people were getting shot. In my city that's near me, it's almost similar. We're like 3 to 4, 5 people, you know, just people getting shot. And so I mean, like, bring the M16s in there. Bring the M16s with the scopes and the snipers from the freaking army. Bring them in. I don't care. People think that it's not martial law. It's no, like, I'm about tired of the degenerates messing up our damn cities. Bring them in. Bring in the sound cannon. Where's the sound cannons when you need them? I want those. I want whole groups of people getting blasted with the sound cannon. Screw them. You're degenerates. Stop making our cities bad. Stop killing people. When I see these shootouts, I'm like, where's the National Guard? Sound cannon them. Rubber bullets. Bring it on. I don't care. At this point, it's like, if you want to be a degenerate and try and make our cities look like it's damn freaking Escape from LA, you're getting sound cannoned in the face. Like, why would you not want that? Like, that's so crazy. They're trying to clean up our cities, and these people are like, no, our cities are fine. You're insane. Our cities are not fine. They need help. The freaking police can't even do their jobs, and when they try to, there's been videos of people literally interfering in regular, like, civil duties of someone just committed a crime. Doesn't even matter what color they committed a crime, an actual documented crime. They freaking robbed a bank, and this freaking crazy lady comes up and is like, "Sir, are you okay? Are they hurting you?" The dude robbed a bank. He robbed a bank at gunpoint, and he was of a color. He was green. How about that? He was green. Lady comes up and she's like, "Are you okay, sir?" The cops are like, "He robbed a bank." "Sir, lady, can you mind your own business? He robbed a bank." And she's wondering if the guy's okay. I'm like, these people are insane. These people have lost their freaking mind. Those same people would be getting literally robbed, and they'll be like, do you need more? Here, take you take my pants too. Are you okay as you're robbing me? Let me make sure you have health care. Let me make sure you have health care as you're robbing me. I just want to make sure all those people that are shooting off their pistol in Chicago have health care. It's insane. People have lost their damn minds. People have lost their damn mind. By the way, guys, you're welcome to my therapy session. This is my therapy. If I don't get this off into a microphone, then I'll end up I'll end up having a whole crowd and town of people locally trying to witch hunt me, trying to bring me down. But all jokes aside, all of this, I'm telling you guys, all of this, what I'm talking about, all leads back to crypto. That's what's funny. It's like you can always bring all of these conversations back to crypto because what is at stake here? Well, it's your money. Your money's at stake. So yeah, long story short, continue to invest, continue to accumulate, and that's all you need to know. Privacy is going to be a big thing. Make sure you are set up and ready and allocated to privacy and the big hitters, because that's where I think a lot of the big rotation is going to come from. I would wager to bet BNB is going to get overinflated, and a lot of that money is going to just empty out into these other chains. So be prepared. I'd say I'd even go as far as watching Athena. Athena's stablecoin is getting a lot of liquidity coming in as a big heavy hitter as a competition with USDC and USDT. And then that makes you think about where the Athena coin is going to go and how it's been connected with, oh man, Ton. Geez, what else? There's a couple other ecosystems that have been bullish Athena. So yeah, man, you guys can just go down the rabbit hole. Just keep on keeping on grinding, show up every day, and try your best to avoid the CT narrative that gets forced on you, because it's pretty easy to catch it. You got the usual suspects. You got all the accounts that they're posting, bull posting all the stuff that they want you to see, and you can go, cool, I'm gonna look over here. So that's your goal. Ignore all that. You know what you like, you know what's cool, you know what has the most asymmetric upside potential, and you're not going to fall for it. So, and especially if you're watching this channel. So with that being said, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you repost this, reshare, do all that stuff. And if you felt empowered by anything that I said today, clip it and reshare it so we can go viral. This channel and some, you know what? I had a little meeting with someone. I'm not going to say who it is, but when I mention this, you'll know exactly who if you're watching this said person, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I said to a certain person, I said, you know, I think I'm ready to break out. I'm ready to break out. I think this channel should have already had a certain amount of subscribers, and I really do believe this. I believe this to be true. I'm not saying it because I'm like, oh, I deserve it. No, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve anything. But I do feel like I've been kind of shadow banned or blackballed or whatever from the freaking YouTube algorithm, because my channel got banned once before. So it's almost like I had to build it from the ground up again. So this particular person, when I said this, I was like, oh, I feel like I should have more followers. He's like, well, maybe you have the exact amount of followers you're supposed to have, because you might be doing something wrong. You might be doing something wrong, or we always think we should have what we have, but maybe you need to assess what you're doing. And I thought about it. And I said, think how many times I've had to go to the drawing board and reassess when I've hit the wall. A few times. I've had to make that. I've had to go and look and say, do I have to change up what I'm doing? Do I need to like copy what other people are doing because it's working for them? And had a big realization. Said, no, I don't have to copy them. people come to watch my channel because it's because they watch the channel because it is a type of way that I am presenting these things. It's not about me, but I feel like I have a passion and a drive that you can tell I really care about what I'm talking about. And I mean what I say. And I'm genuine. I'm not trying to sell you something. You can tell that even in my own embarrassment, I'm coming to you real. And I'm not trying to fake it. And I think that over time, that will reward me. And I could copy and do what other people are doing, or try and, no, but I'm going to continue to do this thing my way. And I'm going to continue to build this platform and this brand. And I'm going to continue to show up every day. And even though I'm not going to kiss the certain rings in this space, I feel like I still will go and live by and go off of my integrity instead. And so I hope you guys appreciate that. And I hope that over time, you'll begin to understand me a little bit better. And this is why you watch the channel. It's not because I watch Dan because he's going to make me a bunch of money. Like you're not guaranteed to make anything in crypto. If anything, you're guaranteed to lose your portfolio 7 times before you make it. But that's not up to me. That's up to you. You click the buy and sell button. But what I come here to do is to inspire you to not give up and to keep coming here every single day, regardless. That is what I can do. That is what I'm here to do. So if you appreciate that, keep coming back. Keep coming back, and I won't disappoint you. I will not disappoint you, and I will not let you guys down. And I love you guys. I appreciate you for, just giving me your time, your ears, your attention. Your time is very valuable. And so I thank you. And make sure you share this, repost, reheart, whatever you got to do to get the message out. And let's get the dojo crew going viral. All right. Peace out, my friends.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.